Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Let's thank our members: Invictus, Crazy Bull, Cots, our Patreons, Interceptor 35, Richardson, Danny Cage, and Rupert. Thank you guys for being members. Thank you all the members, all the patrons, and let's get into it. Subscribe, donate if you want, and with the PayPal, and let's get into it. So today we are going to take a look on the Gripen. Not a very in-depth look, to be honest. It's not a diving down series of videos or anything like that. I plan to do a video on the Gripen in the future, but still there are a couple of ones that I wanted to make it first. But first of all, let's talk about why we're going to talk about the Gripen. So yeah, the Swedish tech tree right now, it doesn't have a lot of things to be added, to be honest, especially with the addition that we already have with the vegan, JAS-39, the JA-37C, as I did a video on this week, in this week, that I told you guys about, that this variant actually that has flares and the most amount of upgrades that it has, it is basically from the early 90s, okay? So it's an early 90s JA-37, okay? Which means that there isn't much else to be added in the Swedish kind of part of that tech tree. Of course, we will probably see the F-18 on the Finnish tech tree in the future, but it's basically that, you know. We are probably going to even see the F-18C first, then the Gripen itself. Because a lot of people are just asking in the comments, in the community in general, why we don't have the Gripen right now, why we have to have the Gripen and the Gripen and the Gripen, because Sweden has less stuff, or because Sweden only has the vegan for a while, or something like that, which is kind of crazy, because I don't think people actually realize how advanced a JAS-39 is, you know, even the earlier ones. It's not that far from what we have right now in game, to be honest, but it's still pretty advanced, you know. And as I said, it is kind of, I mean, it's not that advanced, but it is way more advanced than what we have right now. And it becomes a problem with the vegan itself, you know. The vegan, it's an aircraft that it was, you have to consider that Sweden wasn't a country as big as the USSR or even the US, you know. So obviously they would produce less aircraft. It's the same principles as we have in the UK, in France, and all the other nations. These two superpowers, they were able to produce a lot more aircraft. And the vegan was just fine, you know. It wasn't bad against anything that would be facing, you know, in the 80s and stuff. But it is just a matter of weaponry, to be honest, you know. The vegan, it doesn't have any more weapons that it can receive in the BVR department unless we get the JA-37D in the future. And that is already kind of OP, because you will get the RB-99, which is the AIM-120, which is far too advanced for now as a Fox 3 missile and pretty good range, you know. And the Gripen kind of falls into that category as well, you know. Especially the Gripen, you know, because the vegan, a vegan with an AIM-120, with 4 AIM-120s, would already be OP. It is already kind of OP on its BR right now and the way that it's implemented right now, you know, with the C variant. So imagine a D variant with 4 RB-99s or the AIM-120s right now. It would just completely destroy the game, right? So it kind of doesn't make sense. I think, I mean, we don't know what Gaijin is planning to do in the future, obviously, but I think, in my opinion, they will end up only adding these type of missiles probably when everybody can get it. Because I know the Phoenix is there and it's a Fox 3 and stuff, but it's nothing comparable to the AIM-120 and the R-77 and Meteors and R-77-1s and C variants of AIM-120s and more advanced missiles like that, you know. It's nothing compared to that, because those missiles will have 50 to 100 kilometers of range depending on the variant and the modernizations of it, and turn way better than a Phoenix, being still a Fox 3 missile. And you know, and the platforms that shoot those missiles are already very much better than what we have right now. So we are not quite there yet. And with that sense, the Gripen just cannot be added right now. It will take a while, especially because think about the Gripen like it is a 4 plus generation aircraft, or 4.5 even. It's an aircraft that it was going to stomp mostly the earlier like 4th gen, like with its radar and its missiles. It would be very, very, very good against early MiG-29s, early F-15s, early Su-27s even maybe, early F-16s. You know, aircraft like that would just be stomped by a Gripen. So if he would stomp even those aircraft, imagine the other aircraft that we have in game right now. So it is just not the time, you know. So a lot of people need to understand that the Gripen is not going to come in a very, very far future. It's just not going to come. Obviously, the performance of it's pretty alright. I think it would be very similar to the Vegan, but better, you know. So the engine would be better, more efficient and stuff. The thrust weight is around 1.04, so it is still lower than the F-15 and MiG-29, for example, in certain fuel situations, but it's still very, very good. The radar would be, the first ones with the JAS-39A would be 120 kilometers. So it is not something out of the ordinary for those 4th generation aircraft, at first at least, you know. But the main problem is the missiles. They would not have Fox 1 missiles. They would go straight to the very OP Fox 3 missiles of the 90s. And that's just not something that can be added right now, you know. So I guess we just have to wait, you know. Sweden, it's a country that it kind of doesn't need anything right now. Even though I still think that the vegan should be 11.3 with the addition of the RB74 for it. Maybe not right now in this exact moment, but in the soonish future, when the MiG-29 is added, F-15, F-16, Su-27s, aircraft like that with the Fox 1s, we can add the vegan with the RB74 to be able to deal with those situations. And once, when we get the first R-77 aircraft and the first AIM-120s, yes, then we can add the Gripen. But think about we don't even have properly 4th generation 80s aircraft yet in game. We have some of them, but just a couple of them, you know. So the Mirage 2000, obviously, but the Mirage 2000 it's a problematic one because it faces the same problem, you know. It's an amazing aircraft, but once we'll start facing more 4th generation aircraft, it will be kind of put it to the side a little bit. It will not be the best aircraft in the game when these 4 American and Soviet aircraft are added, like the 16, the 15, the 29, and the 27, you know. When those are added, the Mirage will be probably put to the side a little bit. But even with that, we can have the 5F version. I think it's the 5F or the 5 version, the 2005, which would carry the Fox 3 missiles as well. So we can have upgrades to these aircraft, and of course we will have 4th generation having upgrades to carry those missiles as well. But we are not quite there yet, man. We're barely in the 80s yet, and a lot of people are asking for the Gripen for some reason. No, man, the Gripen is not coming. So yeah, Sweden doesn't have anything to be added for now. Sweden, you know, obviously Finland can receive the F-18 in the soonish future, but it's still kind of, you know, maybe if they add another sub tree to that tree, so the Danish one, maybe they can add the F-16 and stuff like that to help a little bit the Swedish tech tree. But to be honest, that's it, man. It kind of don't have anything to be added for the Swedish tech tree until we start to see some Fox 3 missiles. Because even though the Gripen, I know a lot of people are talking about the performance of it, and I agree with you guys. The JAS-39A, you know, from 1996, it's not that far from an F-15 or a MiG-29 or something like that, you know. It's not that far. And in some areas, it's even worse. The radar is very, very good as well. but it's not something completely broken or anything like that. So it would be fine to be added. But the problem are those missiles. The RB99 is too advanced for now, and we have to wait until we have more 4th generation to see that. So I would put a time frame of at least a year and a half, maybe more, until we see those type of aircraft, because you know how Gaijin works, you know how they do the updates and stuff. We will probably see in the next update 1 or 2 4th generation aircraft, like a MiG-29 or something, but they're still very early 4th generation aircraft, you know. And then in the soonest future, we will see more F-16s for other nations, F-15s maybe, Su-27 maybe, Su-33, or aircraft like that, you know. And then, I mean, this is just a year of content. Just look at the MiG-23 MLD, for example. It's more than a year has passed since that aircraft was added, if I'm not mistaken. More than a year. Much more than a year, actually. And in 1 or 2 in like 2 patches, we will see the F-14 being 1 year already in the game. So yeah, they take time to deal with stuff. Obviously, they are a small team and stuff, and so yeah, it will take time until we see the Gripen, okay? But I just wanted to talk to you guys about it, because just to try to make some understand that maybe you need to look elsewhere, because a lot of frustration can come from this, you know, and nobody wants to be frustrated, right? So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Gripen, because I am one of the guys that will want the Gripen the most, because my country is using Gripens. So it's one of those aircraft that you really, really want, right? Just because of my country's use of the Gripen. But you know how it is. You just have to wait, and it will take a lot of time. And I hope we take a lot of time, because we're not nowhere near there to get those missiles and those performance levels, basically. But yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you think the Gripen is coming soon or not. It is not, but still, let me know in the comments. Subscribe, be a member, be a Patreon, be a PayPal, and everything is in the description. And I see you guys on the next one. So bye, guys. See ya. Bye.